wrong button. Hey, what's up? I didn't even know I could do that emote. It's been a while. I mean, since I played GTA, really. I played it a bit recently to do another Squirrel, but that was apparently a month ago, according to my YouTube channel, and I just looked at it. Hi. It's Friday. I've had a long week. I'm tired. I, had a Canadian cigarette before doing this. So, you know, usual. Random. And, you know, today's episode, I guess, is, you do you. Or more specifically, freedom. There's a funny thing, when it goes to my views on freedom. I'm not saying I'm right, as usual. Oh, seriously, with the notifications, could you frig off? God. I know I can buy this anyway. Jesus, notification squirrel. Let's try that again before I get too sidetracked before I'm even done the friggin' preamble, for frig's sake. God. Anyway, I'm tired all over the place. What the fuck is I talking about? UBU, freedom. And, my views on freedom are a contradiction in terms, I suppose. Because, you know, I have rules concerning freedoms, or at least, considerations to make while exercising your freedom. I believe everyone should be able to do whatever the hell they want. As I usually say, as long as everybody's smiling when the whole thing's over, I could give two shits what you do. I may or may not want to watch or participate, but, you know, that's me doing me, so. I'm sorry, but my imagination just conjured up a whole bunch of really strange things just now. And it's really distracting. Fuck, I might even get to some of that, but let's just leave it behind for now. Fuck, that's 2 squirrels in the first, 2 minutes? We're on a record run here. Oh, is this shiny thing over here? Oh, it's literally just a shiny thing. Okay, they've added crap you can find in this game, like in Red Dead. So now there's shinies in GTA 5. Aren't we all lucky? I don't think I'm ready for Zoom yet. I need to get a little bit more focused. Visual metaphor. Totally unplanned. Fuck. Visual metaphor, squirrel. So, freedom. Why am I talking about freedom, I guess? You know, I'm pretty free. I live in Canada. I don't feel like I have any of my freedoms really taken away from me. You know, and back in the day before Canadian cigarettes were legal, I still had some. It helps me. Plus, I enjoy it. Maybe a little too much, but that's another conversation. Point of the matter was, technically, it was not legal at that point in time. But I kept it to myself, you know, blah, 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 blah. It wasn't a thing, you know. Oh, Jesus, no, not that. No, stop. Joystick drift. It happens to everyone. Protect yourself. Shit. That's another squirrel. You know what? It's one of those ones I gotta go back and get it. Look, just give me it. Okay. Why am I talking about freedom? See? I left it right here. I don't know why I was worried. Freedom. Because of this whole, you know, thing that's going on in the spring of 2020 that for some reason the YouTube robots pounce on. I haven't really been paying attention to why. I just know it's a thing you really can't say if you want your videos to be recommended in any way. So, there you go. People have been cooped up People have had to live under enforced regulations that hindered their normal way of lifestyle. Now, generally speaking, most people were like, well, this sucks, but I don't want anybody to get sick or die. Myself, my family, or anyone else around me, because, nobody wants that. And from what I hear, it's not a really pleasant way to go. Chances are low, but, if you go running around in a golf course in the middle of a thunderstorm, carrying an aluminum ladder over your head, you probably won't get hit by lightning, but there's a chance it might happen. Here's another way of looking at it. Let's say you're a good driver, you've been in maybe 2 or 3 accidents your whole life. If you've been driving your whole life, it happens. They might not even have anything to do with it being your fault at all. You put your seatbelt on, generally. You might forget, but you put your seatbelt on. If you have kids, you definitely put their seatbelts on. If you're a parent, you just do it. You're just like, no fucking way, I put my seatbelt on my kid. Because even though the chances are slim, if it happens and suddenly your kid goes flying out through the windshield, it's just not worth it. Even the slimmest chance. So in that respect, a rational person might realize that that's what seatbelts are for. And child seats and airbags, and yada yada. Maintaining functioning brakes in your vehicle. So they surrender their freedom of not spending money on that, of not feeling constricted or having their neck get chafed or being uncomfortable or not being able to masturbate while they drive. I don't fucking know. Actually, I'm pretty sure it's illegal to masturbate while you drive because you distract. Can you navigate a rotary while having an orgasm? I sure as fucking hell can't. I've never tried it, but, I don't have to. Anyway, Jesus, that was a squirrel, eh? Didn't quite derail me, though. I think the driving kind of helps. I'm going in a direction. What are you doing, you jackass? Fuck, he derailed me. Just sit by the river. I'm out of cigarettes and the store's closed, so I can't smoke to kind of center myself. Probably shouldn't anyway. Don't smoke, kids. It's not good for you. Don't smoke and drive. It's even worse for you. Dude. No, yeah, anyway. Public announcement, Squirrel. Some freedoms people give up willingly because, it's a good idea. And it doesn't feel like their freedom is being given up willingly because they choose it. They're like, yeah, you know what, that makes sense, I'll do that. And I myself, being a mild anarchist, I suppose, tend to choose to follow the laws that I believe make sense. Now, I'm not specifically sure what the laws on something like, for example, suicide are in Canada. Excuse me, I'm closing my window. It's still friggin' cold in Canada, even though it's like 23rd of May or something like that. Window squirrel. Jesus, this was random. I'm sorry. I gotta take a break just in case the thing stops. Alright. Oh, God, that really derailed me. It doesn't help that I'm really tired. Think about this whole, global thing that's going on now that has us all locked in our apartments or houses or backyards. And people are rightfully afraid of having their income jeopardized because that impinges on their freedoms to live their life healthy, happy, and fed. Robs them of the freedom of raising their children happy, healthy, fed. Believes a person has a right to have fun. Doing this brings me a lot of relaxation. Not only doing these videos, but playing this. I'm not hurting anybody, but it's another side point. I don't want to get scrolled again, for God's sakes. It's getting embarrassing. So I understand people being pissed off about that shit. And I think, maybe, I don't know, this is just my perspective, this is my opinion, but I think perhaps a lot of them maybe don't realize the danger of it. And they're just spinning the wheel thinking, oh, well, what the fuck are the chances? You know, I might as well get hit by lightning. Yeah. Like I said, some people get hit by lightning like 5-6 times in their life. It's pretty freaking rare, but it happens. But anyway, I understand the fear that perhaps an organization or a government or various corporations or individuals may try to make this situation into a situation that gains them the upper hand, greater control, firmer grip on the populace. I don't know if maybe there's countries out there where that is happening. It's not happening in Canada. There's a lot of people sitting at home now bored, but making a living wage, you know, thanks to the government just being like, you know what, you can't work right now, so here's money enough for you to survive. That's why we as Canadians pay taxes. You don't pay taxes, you pay fines. If you don't pay taxes long enough, maybe you go to jail for a little while. That's a severe removal of freedom from a person, but generally speaking, if the person can prove it wasn't, you know, intent or malicious intent to defraud the government or whatever, they'll be like, all right, well, listen, you got to file your taxes. Okay, sorry, I didn't know, whatever. They'll probably just get a fine or, I don't know, warning, whatever, and file their taxes diligently afterwards, you know, with probably potentially more severe consequences. That's a totally... But you get the idea? You know, I don't like working, you know, like a dog for 5 days a week. Pretty much every week of the year. It's sometimes, not now in my point in life. And I give up, 20% of my paycheck? 18% of my paycheck? Depends how much you make. The more you make, the more you lose. Which I think is fair. Because after a while, like, you make so much money, like, you don't care about losing some of it. You'll never notice it. So we give up the freedom of just having all of our money so that in case shit like this happens, we can maintain the freedom of at least living fed, more or less, you know, hopefully healthy. And if we do get sick, we can go to the hospital and it doesn't cost us anything. And, you know, if we lose time from work or can't pay our mortgage or whatever because of it, we have protection for it. And this is what our taxes are for. We give up that freedom in return. If everyone was free to kill everyone else, you know, where would that go? Well, the planet would be probably happy because there'd be a lot of dead people and less pollution and yada yada. You know, but I'm not suggesting you do it. As an example of a compromise towards freedom, let's call it. Someone asked Terence McKenna. If you don't know who that is, watch a couple videos on YouTube of him talking about shit if you can. He's an interesting guy. You might think he's crazy, kind of like me, but, you know, I'll be the first person to tell you that I'm as crazy as a cat in a friggin' clothes dryer, so take it as you will. Fuck, cat in a clothes dryer, squirrel, swearing lady. Oh, So yeah, Terence McKenna. I'm not sure how they were talking, but they were talking about kind of just the general sort of tangent that humanity was on, sort of on a survival basis and overpopulation and that kind of thing. China had instigated some kind of law that around that time, like, or it was, you know, in effect at that time, where people could only have a certain number of children, or they would face some kind of fine or something or other, right? Like, I don't know. I don't know very much about it. I just know that that sort of thing existed. But they had to. They just had so many people that it was unsustainable. Unsustainable. And so this, whoever was interviewing Terence McKenna asked him, well, I mean, what would you suggest that humanity do that would be a fair and kind way, a compassionate way of reducing population. And he said, well, he's like, I've thought about that before, and I didn't have an answer myself. He's like, but then this one time, I did mushrooms. And I asked them. That's a whole other story. And the mushroom response was simply one offspring. When you think about it, it doesn't take away anyone's right to procreate, or have sex for that matter. It doesn't take away anyone's right to bear children, like I said. There are more children, so our species continues. There's families, etc., etc. Generally speaking, families would be better able to care for a single child. It's cheaper. If you live in a capitalist society as I do, kids are expensive. Simply put, food, diapers, school, clothes. They grow like snot. You're constantly buying clothes for the things. I joke when I call them things. They're people. But because we live in a society where we're surrounded with each other, we kind of have to get along. In the long run, we're basically kind of fucked because your son's going to go out, but that's, too big of a slice of time for this particular concept. Here's the thing. We've got a limited amount of space on this planet. And if we keep going on the way we're going on, we're at some point going to tip the balance where we really don't have enough resources. There really isn't enough to go around completely. I think at this point now, at least the last time I kind of looked into any kind of these statistics, was that there was enough resources to meet the needs of current humanity's population now existing on the planet to a comfortable degree, something like 20 times over, if it was applied in a sustainable and ecological manner. I can't remember who said this. It was some smart guy that was semi-famous. I'm terrible for remembering who says shit. I just that's a pretty cool thing to think. Then I remember it, and I don't remember who said it. Got Blake sidetracked again. See, don't drive and smoke Canadian cigarettes. It's dangerous. Forget what you're doing and go through a red light or something. It's silly. So yeah, we'll run out. We keep going the way we're going. We will run out. To the point where we can't just go, oh shit, if we share this, we'll be okay. Right now, we're at the point where we go, oh, if we share this, we'll be okay. If we go on too much longer, we'll be at the point where there's not enough to go around, even if we do share it. Human beings get a little mean when they're desperate. Everything does. Any wounded creature, let's call it. Humans are animals. Listen, you son of a bitch, you stay on your side of the road. I'm not trying to be unkind. I'm not trying to paint humans in a bad light. We're just part of it. We're part of the system, the ecosystem. We're not separate from it. That's another squirrel, nature squirrel. Gonna do another time break just in case. Feels like I've been babbling for a while. I am gonna wrap it up probably before I have to do another time break. To spare you. Maybe you're home and bored. You're just like, all right, I'll listen to this crazy kook babble on for a bit. Okay, deep breath. Sometimes me and my brain get in arguments because it's trying to go in 4 directions at once, and I'm like, no, you need to pay attention to this one thing right now because I'm trying to share it, and I only have one mouth. And my brain's like, no, fuck you, I want to think about 6 things right now. I know what, I'm going to go top the hill and sit on there. So what the fuck was I talking about? Freedom, fucking animals, get me, not enough shit. Yeah, so because everything about our existence is finite, I don't mean to be pessimistic or bring shit down or be morbid, but, what can I say? I mean, have you seen me? I mean, don't get me wrong. I like being a happy person and smiling and being kind to people and making people laugh and, You know, but I'd be lying if I said I also wasn't a dark motherfucker. Maybe it's depression, I don't know. Could be I think too much, ponder crazy shit that makes me hate normal, boring life most of the time. Probably it's time to wrap up. I've just gone into absolute chaos, and I need to just drive for an hour and then blow something up. Oh, shut up. Oh, yeah, and then a giant thing in the corner. Blah, blah, blah. What do you... Blah, buy this. Blah, buy that. Spend your money. Fuck off. Pardon my French, I'm a salty dog. I don't mean anything by it. Listen, we all want as much freedom as we can have sharing a planet to happen. We all kind of need to give up a little bit of freedom. We all want to keep living as long and as healthy as we can. You know, right now, sort of the way things are, it's sort of voluntary whether you want to get along or not. There's always somewhere you can go or someone you can talk to who's going to agree with maybe your point of view that people should be hurt because of the way they think or who they have sex with or what's hanging between their legs. And they think that freedom is meaning that they should be allowed to do awful things. You know, that's freedom for a single individual. But we're not a single individual. We're what, 8 billion now, people living together, all needing the same thing: food, health, happiness, friends, family. You know, to not hurt. Life hurts. The universe doesn't give a shit. We're a blip in the eye of fucking the universe. It could care less if we exist. So, you know, give a shit. Be excellent to one another. Don't stop thinking. Have a good one. Don't play with guns, they're dangerous.